The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Welcome to Q's on the Move. I'm your man, Brother Donald Williams II, the proud 2nd District Chairman of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity for the Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee. And
I'm Jeff Diggs, the co-chair for the Fatherhood and Mentoring for the state of Maryland.
Hey, together we will be your hosts for this segment of Q's on the Move.
Okay, so let's get right into it. So our call-in number for tonight is 301-429-9247, or you can stream us live on Facebook and just go to Facebook and just in the search WBGR Entertainment and you will find us, or WBGRonline.com.
We're so glad that you have joined us. Today's topic, the 2020 U.S. Census. The count matters. We have two wonderful guests that have joined us for this important topic, this necessary topic, this meaningful topic. But before they introduce themselves, let me share with you the why. Why are we talking about the census? The count. What's all that about? Family. The goal is to educate and motivate the family to participate in the 2020 census. That's the bottom line. We want the family to be informed, and we want you to go out and inform others about the census. Hey Jeff, a lot is going on, a lot is at stake with the upcoming elections. We must be empowered.
We must be empowered.
We must go forward and take care of our community to make sure that we have representation, the proper resources and services in our community. We're talking about congressional districts, we're talking about schools, we're talking about roads. You'll hear a lot more about that. So family, that's our why. Let's jump right into the conversation. We have a video recently from Untitled Chapter located in Montgomery County. Gabe Brown, our bosses, we started the campaign this Saturday at Goshen United Methodist Church. I want you to hear the remarks from our bosses and from Sidney Katz, our councilman for District 3. Let's go to the video, please.
Why do you think people do not want to be part of the census?
Are we there?
Or why do you think people don't register to vote? And as a 30-year Navy captain, which I am, every year it's mandatory for us to be educated in scholarship on voting and what the impact is. We don't have that in the private sector. And so as I retire this year, one of the goals of our chapter was to be on the forefront and make sure that we have an impact and that we give people uplift. And one, the biggest thing, scholarship. Educate people on what their rights are. And that's one of the things that is important to me, it's important to our chapter, and it really is important to this community. With that, I'd like to thank you. And then also I'd like to invite, he doesn't want to be called Mr. Sidney Katz, up to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Pastor, and thank you, Gabe. I appreciate being here. My name is Sidney Katz, and I'm a local. I grew up in Gaithersburg, and I'm now the president of the Montgomery County Council. I'm a former mayor of Gaithersburg, but I always told everybody, I always knew that Gregory Williams really was the mayor of Gaithersburg when I was there. But, you know, we're just so thankful everyone is here. This is such an important topic. The census, obviously it comes around every 10 years, but it means so much money for beyond everything else that it means so much money for Montgomery County. And when we're undercounted, which we have a tendency to be, then it'll cost each of us so much that we can't do we don't have the resources, we don't have the money to do the resources that are so very necessary to make each of us safe and to make each of us have better schools. All those things that money buys. I'm very pleased to, and I know that you're going to get statistics and numbers from the census people themselves, but right now, I'm not going to make this political at all, but right now, there's a sense in America that people don't want everyone to be counted. That is I see head shaking, yes, you know what I'm saying without saying it. And we cannot do that. Everyone has always mattered in Montgomery County. Montgomery County, right now, to this day, right now, of the top 10 most diverse communities in America, 4 of them are in Montgomery County. Gaithersburg is number 1 in America as the most diverse place to be, and Rockville is number 10. And Wheaton and Germantown is on that list as well. So we need to stick together. I'm very, very pleased to have some friends who are in the audience. I'd like to introduce.
I love how we integrate technology. This census is very important. I hope you listen to the message. Hey, family, we are so excited to have Miss Robin Brown, and we're going to jump right into the conversation. I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell you why the count, why the urgency, why it is important that this time, at this moment, to participate in the national census.
Excellent.
Robin.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I am excited about this partnership. I know we can't do any of this work without our wonderful partners. Like you said, my name is Robin Brown. I'm a partnership specialist for the United States Census Bureau for the state of Maryland. I'm also the congressional lead. And so, yeah, we are super excited. We're getting everything geared up. Different partners that I want to mention to make sure that we give them a shout. So, of course, we want to give a shout to the Untitled Chapter, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We just had an event at Goshen. It was very, very successful. A lot of their constituents and their congregants came out to learn more about the census, and they're going to be ambassadors. We also want to thank Paul Scott from Kingdom Fellowship AME, who is also part of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, who is going to be doing great work. They're going to have a census talk for their congregation. And so they're going to do a series to make sure that everybody gets counted. Now, it's so important that we have these partnerships because you guys are the trusted voice, right? You guys have been established since 1911. Right? And
did homework.
Yes, I did. And you know, we want to be friends because friendship is essential to the soul. Right?
There we go. Drop the mic.
There you go. So, you know, what an opportunity, right, to build friendships during this time. But when a friend comes to me and gives me advice and says, you know, hey, I think you should do this, most of the time I'm going to take their advice. So for that, I want to say that is the reason why we have to build these partnerships. You guys are the trusted voices. You're going to go out, spread the word, and everybody's going to make sure that they do the census.
Thank you so much. And our next guest, Mr. Minor.
Mr. Minor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Julius Minor. So tell us about yourself and tell us about the goal and the timelines. And from what I understand, we should start receiving some mailings here pretty soon.
Absolutely. So I am Julius Valentine Minor. I am the partnership coordinator for the U.S. Census Bureau for the state of Maryland. And in my role, what we do is we just try to build more partnerships with the trusted voices such as Omega Psi Phi Incorporated. And in my role, I go out there and try to figure out what is the reason why people don't respond. But let's talk about the timeline first. So for the first time ever, we have gone online. March 12th is the first time you start receiving stuff in the mail saying, hey, we're online, you can fill out online, the census is coming. And you'll also be able to fill it out over the phone and over paper. So in 2010, if you guys remember where you were in the census, we only had one way of completing the form. So for the first time ever, March 12th, you can go online. So to the people who say, I don't want people knocking on my door, go online and fill it out. In addition to that, we have it available in 13 languages. So because we're inviting, you know, America has changed a lot since 2010. And so for us, we're telling people, although April 1st is the census day, April Fool's Day is not a joke to us.
Right? That's good.
But we want people to start going online as soon as March 12th, because you'll be able to fill it out for the first time ever online, and we encourage people to start doing that as soon as March 12th. You'll be able to go up until July 30th. So between March 12th and July 30th, you'll be able to fill out the form, which is longer than it was available in 2010.
Okay.
But we tell people don't wait until July 30th, because starting May 1st, that's when we deploy our enumerators, and all that is the door knockers. So between March 12th and the end of April, get it done, because if not, we deploy people to make sure that, hey, if you missed the postcard saying come fill it out, which is 5 between March 12th and April 30th, we'll come to your door and make sure you get counted.
Okay. Can you share with us some statistics about our community, the Black and Brown community?
Absolutely. So, and I put a caveat. A lot of our statistics are based on how people respond.
Okay.
So based on 2019 data, there's about 76% non-Hispanic white, and about 18% Hispanic, and about 13% African American. Right. Some people might speculate that they say, based on the census data, if people did not respond, is that accurate? Right. So, although that is what it's saying now, I think there's a lot of stats that are showing that we're about to approach a majority-minority nation. But it's important to reflect that, right? It's not just about stats, it's about how we allocating funding to these different groups in America. So that's what the census does.
Yeah.
Right? We deploy $675 billion based on the stats in America, and we say these communities need these specific services. And we know certain communities have not historically gotten the services they want or need in their community. And I'm here to say it's because undercount in previous censuses.
That's interesting.
So let me ask you both of you this question, and I'm gonna turn to Robin. What's the hesitation about why our community is not engaged, do not participate? Can you talk to that?
I think that it's a couple of things. You know, historically, we weren't necessarily counted in the past. We were known as property. I mean, this is something that happened in the first census in 1790 when Thomas Jefferson, and we know the history regarding Thomas Jefferson. But even furthermore, we know there's a distrust in the government in a lot of communities, including ours. And so, again, this is why we partner up with organizations to ensure that, hey, if you don't hear it from me, at least you'll hear it from somebody you trust. The story that I love to give is that I have two boys. They are 10 and 12, and we go to the barbershop. Now, when I go to the barbershop, they listen to me. I've been going there for the past 10, 12 years, and they get me. And anytime I talk about the census, because I'm a trusted voice to them, they're a lot more comfortable. You know, they say candid things. One guy, for example, said to me, you know, Ms. Brown, I have a warrant. Are they going to get me? And I said, no, it is completely confidential. We don't give out any identifiable information. We only give the actual number count. So we really have to make sure that we, again, partner up with organizations, be a friend to the friendless, to make sure that they get counted. They are important. Yeah, some people may not be able to vote. Yeah, some people may not be able to have certain luxuries when it comes to citizenship. This is an opportunity for everybody to get counted. And so we want to make sure that we let people know Title 13 says that we cannot divulge any information. We set an oath when we got our position. And if I divulge any identifiable information, I'm 5 years imprisonment or $250,000. Wow. And I tell people I have a husband and 2 kids. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm keeping my mouth shut for the next 72 years.
Need our mama.
So that leads me to my question that you brought up. What are some of the questions that are being asked?
So I'm gonna start one way. I'll tell you what's not gonna be asked, right? So you'll never be asked about your social security number, bank account information, and it's only 9 basic questions. So age, sex, race, gender, telephone number. So the questions are basic, but we do have the form available online, 2020census.gov, because you need to know what the form looks like. Yes. The reason why that's really important is if you don't know what this form looks like, somebody can come to you and be like, this is a census form, and you can give out things like social security number, and we want people to know exactly what the form looks like. And it's only 9 questions, right? And to Robin's point, and we don't share your information with FBI, IRS, or CIA. And people don't know that, right? So the historical distrust for government should not apply to the census because we want to benefit the community, and it's really simple form. We make it available, and it takes you less than 10 minutes.
So the one thing that we need to get people to understand that there is no information being asked about your bank account or your social security number. So, those are things you need to be aware of. Besides knowing what questions are not there.
Exactly.
So of course the citizenship question is not there, and we want to make sure that we allow everybody to know it was a Supreme Court decision that was made. You can't ask this question on the census, and so we always want to make sure. The great thing about this though, me and Julius also come from an ethnic background, so I'm first generation American. My family's from the country of Haiti, and so this is an opportunity where people are able to put down which diaspora they're from. So a lot of people wanted to be able to identify, and I think that's important to be able to identify which part of the diaspora that you're from. So you can say that you're Black Cuban or Black Haitian or Black Somalian. You can identify exactly who you are, but it's going to ask the normal questions. How many people live here? What's your name? So those are the types of things that they're going to ask, and it's all for statistical purposes. I do want to mention that the census is apolitical and nonpartisan. So we do not lean towards the left, and we do not lean towards the right. We keep it very simple.
We just want the numbers.
Yes, that's all we want. That's all we want. It's a scientific data center. So we're consistently doing multiple surveys. However, this one only happens once every 10 years. It's the decennial, and it's constitutionally mandated that it happens once every 10 years.
And we're about 60 days into this new decade, And so we need you to be engaged, we need you to be informed, and we need you to participate in the census. So let's talk about those underserved and undercounted areas. Rob?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'll give the list, and then you can kind of share the initiatives that we're doing. Excellent. So children under 5 is a big one across all demographics. Doesn't matter what it is, for whatever reason, from ages 0 to 5, it's a harder count for individual. One story that we like to share is a guy went back to see what his parents put on his census, like way back. And he had his sister's name on there, his brother's name on there, and then his name said etc. Because he wasn't a baby. Please do not put etc. for your children. So that's really important, children under 5. Of course, our immigrant population, fear of the government, and different things like that. But we've teamed up with organizations such as Casa de Maryland. They're wonderful when it comes to making sure that they let the Latino community know that it is okay to do your census. Veterans is another group that we veterans they're somewhat transient at sometimes. So that's something to consider, and unfortunately we still have a high veteran population that transitions to homelessness, right? And so homelessness is also a nomadic lifestyle that it's hard for us to be able to count. However, again, we've teamed up with organizations like soup kitchens and Meals on Wheels and those type of organizations that really make sure they can tell us and say, hey, this is where you need to go. These are the hot spots. Group homes, even social services, Department of Social Services we've reached out to because they render services. The library is another organization. The Library Association is who we've reached out to because we understand that a lot of the homeless population still go to the library. And then, of course, our seniors. Our seniors are a vulnerable community, and we always let them know, please do not give out your social security number, your banking information. I can't stress that enough because there are going to be scams, right? We're in the age of technology, so we have to understand what's right, what's not right. But these are definitely questions. The census will not call you, just like the IRS will not call you. You call us. Okay, so if somebody says, hey, I'm from the census, most likely it's not from us. So those are the groups. But I want Julius to kind of talk about the initiatives that we've been doing to make sure that they get counted.
Absolutely, and I love that she listed what the hard to count populations, because this is not a secret. We knew exactly who did not respond in 2010, and we use that to be the starting point. So when we start our initiative in 2020, how do we ensure that everybody gets counted? We started with those groups, so we created initiatives around that. So when we started with our partnerships, we said, what partners serve these populations? Because at the end of the day, the census makes sure that everybody gets served. So in order to get people included, it had to be based on the initiative. So we did a college summit, right? Because college populations are often undercounted. I know 10 years ago I was in grad school, right? I could have cared less about the census, right? But it's because college students always assume somebody's going to count me, right? We do have an operation where on campus they're counted, but if you're living off campus, your mom's not going to count you. Your different family household's not going to count you. It is where you're utilizing the services, the robes, and everything else around you. So we created an initiative specific for colleges. We also targeted seniors because although we went online and we started touting everything's online, there were certain populations who were like, but I'm used to the form, right? So part of our messaging was, hey, we're going to create a specific task force to help you understand that you too are invited to respond. We did a Hispanic outreach summit in Maryland where we said, hey, let us know why you're afraid. Right, and let us talk to you about why this matters to your community, right? So we changed our messaging. Right, when the citizenship decision came down, we hit the ground running. We partnered up with CASA and we said, hey, let's do outreach just specific to people understanding that this form is not going to include the citizenship question. Because if I say it, people are not going to believe me. If y'all say it, people will believe me.
Yes.
Right, so we created a very data-driven, targeted approach to all the historically undercounted populations. And I'm actually really excited because all the concerns from 2010 might not exist in 2020. Example, complex households. In 2010, one person received a form and they had the job of putting everybody's name down.
Right.
Now you can go online. So if there's 3 families in one house, everybody can go online. They can put in their address, right? So we're doing a task force specific for people to understand if you're in a complex household, because it is a head count. Going online can help. Those are some of the initiatives we're doing.
So that leads me to a question, and I'd heard a conversation a couple days ago with respect to the prison population. That now you can actually have someone that may be incarcerated listed at the household with his children. Is this true?
So it is, but I want to put a caveat. The states have the decision to determine once.
Okay.
So if we count them at the institution, we do our group quarters operation. The state then determines are they going to be counted in the institution or their last known address.
Yes.
But we count prison populations or populations who are incarcerated.
Yes.
But the goal is, the reason why the state had that discussion when they do come back, they want to make sure that the community that they come back to is properly able to serve them. So that dollar allocation can either go to the community they came from or where they're housed in the facility.
Can you talk? You had mentioned earlier about questions. There's 10 questions, I believe. Can you give us 2 examples of what those questions look like?
Yeah, and so I think Robin mentioned some. So name, age, sex, gender, how many people in the household, telephone number. So it's very general questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
nothing to be afraid of.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Family, easy lift. Nothing to be afraid of. I like that. So Robin, connect the dots for us. We do the count. Where does the money come from? I mean, can you shape and frame this conversation about where's the money?
Where's the money? Show me the money.
The roads, the schools.
Yes. So, the government will be giving out $675 billion per year. With a B. What I like to say.
Per year?
Is it per year?
No, I was being.
I was like, really? Per year. $675 billion per year. Of course, it is going to go towards school. As a former educator, I was a first grade teacher.
Okay.
And one of the things that I love to talk about when it comes to the census is the lunch debt, right?
Yes,
We understand that there's some students that are what we call farm students, right? Free and reduced meal students. But we also know that there's students that probably didn't get into the program, but families might struggle sometimes. Right. Somebody could lose a job, something could happen. One of the things that could be opted into those parts. So that money could be used towards SNAP benefits. The other thing that could be used is Am I good?
No, go
Okay.
ahead. You're going to give some closing
Of
remarks?
course, yeah. So it's going to go towards schools. It's going to go towards roads. It's going to go, and I like saying the number. So if we if we do an accurate count, imagine how many schools are not going to be overcrowded, right? My fourth grader had 36 kids in one class and one teacher. As an educator, as a first grade teacher, I had 17 kids and I was exhausted. So she had double the number. Hospitals that need to be built. Services, any type of services that could be rendered, this is what the census is here to help with. So,
give us your final closing remarks as we close Q's on the Move.
Q's on the Move, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you. I also need to give a shout out to Greg Wims. He's an excellent member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you so much for being this partner with us. April 1st is Census Day, and like Julia said, it is not a joke. This is very serious. Count your families, tell your friends, tell your church family, tell your work family. It is mobile friendly, so if you have time to take, do it on your phone. Do it somewhere. Just get it done.
Julius, your closing remarks.
Absolutely. So April 1st is a snapshot, and we want everybody listening to be included in this snapshot because you count. You matter, and your community probably needs the funding. So if you think of any issue that currently exists in your community, attach it to the census and say, you know what, if we fill this out, we'll probably have our roads. And last but not least, go online, census.gov/ROAM. It'll tell you right now the exact predicted low response score in your community, which means you have work to do. We have work to do because although we're 9 days away, more people still need to know why this is important.
One more thing, the census is hiring. If you go to 2020census.gov/jobs, apply for a job. They're actually paying pretty good too.
Yeah, double digits. Hey, as we draw to the close of Q's on the Move, Jeff, passing you the ball.
Well, tell you what, next Tuesday for Omega Men, it's a very important date. It's 100 Q's in Annapolis. So we're going to converge on the General Assembly next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. at the Maryland General Assembly. And March 21st is the Game Changers. Don, you want to give us a little bit more information on the Game Changers?
We got 2 minutes. Game Changers. Save the date. Saturday, March the 21st at the University of Shady Grove in Montgomery County. Bring your boys, bring your neighbors, bring your nephews, mentors, bring your 10 kids. Take a time out. It's a one-day mentoring conference. We're going to teach them man-up tools, how to tie a tie, how to do a 30-second interview, how to do a proper handshake, and so much more.
Yes, and so, as we close, I really want to thank you two for being here. This is something that we've in the past we have historically not want to participate, and because we were misinformed, and so, being in this forum, and we'll probably reach 10,000 viewers, and hopefully more, that they will get a sense of how important it is that we are properly represented. Get the funding to our community. One of our, Don and our passion is fatherhood is the reason why we do this across 5 states in the 2nd District, and we don't let our reach stop us there. Don will be traveling to, I'm sure you'll be traveling to Tampa this summer to spread the wealth.
Oh, that's right, Tampa. Hey, look, family, we are so excited that you joined us on Q's on the Move. Stay tuned next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We'll have another chapter to share with you the incredible work that our Omega Men are doing in their communities with mentoring our young boys and our fathers. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next Tuesday. Q's on the Move.